It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. The National Guard is back with us. It's been a little less than a year, but they're back to give us a refresher course on just how to sign up for the National Guard. Staff Sergeant Araceli Crouder in studio. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It is good to see you. Something we want you guys to be able to go to for information, you go to hashtag AZNG team, right? Hashtag AZNG team. And that's where you're going to go for more information about the National Guard. I think what we want to do is kind of start out with your story again and find out why you got into the National Guard, and then we'll get into what it's done for you.
Yeah,
so let's start there.
I joined the National Guard 3 days after I turned 17 years old.
And why? What made you? Because, I mean, it's not like, I guess sometimes maybe it is a spur of the decision moment, right? Where people just, I'm going to go do it. But there's probably some planning, some process you went through in your head to decide to do that.
I did. So I come from a pretty big family. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I've always wanted to join. I wanted to be part of something bigger than myself. I wanted to be in the military, but I wanted to stay close to my family, and I wanted to go to school. So being in the National Guard allowed me to wear the uniform, to serve, to be part of the military, of a bigger community, and then also to stay home and to make sure that, you know, I was there for my siblings. So
that's the key, right? I mean, that's the best of all the world right there for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you join the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, you're deployed out for a while. You don't stay home, where the National Guard is able to go back and forth.
Yeah, so a typical drill weekend, it's like 1 weekend a month, so 1 Saturday and Sunday a month, and then 2 weeks in the summer. We do get called upon for federal service, so there is a chance for deployment, but typically they're on a 5-year rotation. So whatever unit you go to, typically every 5 years they end up going into a deployment bubble, and you kind of already know, hey, my unit is set to deploy, so you have a better idea of, hey, I might leave during this time, so you have more time to get your finances, your family, whatever else in order prior to leaving. And
you were 17. I thought you had to be 18 in order to sign up.
You can join at 17 with parental consent. You can join at 17 while you're still in school, as long as
consent, though.
Your parents say it's okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, so 17 you can start, but of course you're not going to be deployed at the age of 17.
No. The only way...
Okay, so you joined at the age of 17. So
yes.
What's it been like for you? I mean, how long have you been National Guard now?
So 13 years
13 years. So, okay, that's a lot of time. So obviously you like it.
I love it.
What's it done for you? And then how did that beginning start? You signed up, but then now the process begins.
So I signed up. I didn't ship out to basic training until about 6 months after I enlisted.
Okay.
So the time with us, a lot of people don't know, the time that you enlist and you're waiting to go to basic training, that time is actually taken off of your contract, which a lot of people don't know that, because if you were to join any other branch, your time wouldn't begin until the day that you ship out to training.
And how long is the contract?
So it depends. We have a 3-year and a 6-year contract, but anyone who joins the military, regardless of branch, joins for 8 years. So 8 years is what they call a mandatory service obligation. So for us, for 3 years, you're doing 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer. And then for the 5 years, you're in what they call the inactive ready reserve. So in the inactive ready reserve, you're just a civilian, you're out of the military, you're not doing anything with the military, but essentially you're on this list that says, hey, you've been trained, you know what it's like to be in the military. So heaven forbid, they need someone with your skills. They can pull you from that inactive ready reserve slot, and then you can deploy, or you can go and assist with whatever mission is going on.
So if I'm trained at 18, I'm ready to go. Does this stick with me all my life? Am I deployable for my entire life after that then?
No, 8 years from the day that you enlisted.
But even if after the 8 years, I guess I could renew if I wanted to.
If you wanted to, yes.
Okay, so I can stay in as long as I want?
So you can do, as long as you're physically fit, you're able to do the job, and then yes, you can stay up until the age of 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm almost to the cutoff already. I was going to ask you, is there a cutoff age to where you can join?
For joining, for us right now, the cutoff age is 35. However, if you weren't able to join prior to the age of 35 because you had prior commitments, like let's say you were in school or because of work, or you have an outstanding reason why you weren't able to join, there are waivers and you can join a little bit later. I've seen someone join at the age of 42. So you can get a waiver based on the merits that you've done prior to trying to enlist.
I suppose each case is kind of individual too, right?
It is,
I mean,
yeah.
Circumstances surrounding them kind of depends on one person to the next. That's kind of a tough question to get an answer there.
They look at what they call the whole person concept.
Okay.
So if you are, let's say, 40 years old and you're running marathons and you received your degree and you raised 3 kids and you're focusing on, being a parent and getting your education out of the way and working, and then you're still fit, then yeah, that would be someone that a waiver would most likely get approved, versus someone who, just got their high school diploma and then they just had small little jobs here and there, but never decided to join, and they didn't have anything outstanding going on in the meantime prior to enlisting or wanting to enlist. Okay. Then that would be a little bit harder.
Okay. All right. Okay. What are the requirements? If I were to sign up, there's obviously going to be some background checks done, and they're going to look at me. I mean, obviously physically, that you have to be physically fit to be able to do this type of a job. But what are some of the other things that you got to be aware of before you even sign up? So
we do have different jobs. There are some jobs that require security clearances. So if you're going for a job that requires a security clearance, they do run a credit check. So people who have outstanding debts, if they want to come in, they could still join, most likely with a job that doesn't require a security clearance. But if you're going for a job that requires a security clearance, you might want to start getting your finances in order and make sure that you don't have anything in collections. Like, it's okay to have debt, but when you have debt and that goes into collections, then that starts becoming a problem if you're going for a job that requires security clearance.
Felony convictions, is that an issue? Convictions in general, let me ask you that.
It depends on the type of conviction. Okay. There are some waivers depending on what, case by case. We have a list of different offenses, and there are certain offenses that are waiverable. So I would suggest you talk to a recruiter and find out, hey, can I get a waiver to come in with the offense that I've had? Again,
that's probably going to boil down to sort of a case-by-case type thing too. I mean, if you got a person who's still doing it in and out constantly, but then you had a person who learned their lesson and decided, you know what, that's probably not a good choice for me, and has moved forward from there, there's probably a good chance they would be able to get in.
Yeah, and again, they look at the whole person concept. So if it was something that happened, let's say when you were 18 years old and now you're 28, and since then you've gotten married, you've had a family, you are big in community service, you've been going to school, you've been doing really good with your life, you haven't gotten in trouble with the law, they will look at that. You also need reference letters and things like that, and then we can submit your waiver. So, people saying where you've worked, hey, this person is of good moral character. If you go to church, a leader in your church, if you're doing community service, all of those help out when they're looking at the whole person concept.
It's just like any job application you'd fill out. You'd want those letters of reference. You'd want all those things, and you want to look like a shiny penny when you walk through the door and say, hey, I'm your guy. I'm your gal. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's take our first break. Staff Sergeant Araceli Crouder is in studio today. Hashtag AZNG team. Again, that's hashtag AZNG team. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Regrow, repair, replace. Regenerative medicine is the process of creating living, functional tissues to repair or replace tissue or organ function lost due to age, disease, damage, or congenital defects. Dr. Forrest Lanchbury and the team at Sedona Regenerative Medicine specialize in finding relief for patients suffering from chronic pain. Contact Sedona Regenerative Medicine to learn about anti-aging medicines that will help your body heal itself. 928-282-2520 or SedonaRegen.com.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
With too many senior homeowners falling short in their retirement dreams, there may be great news for you. A reverse mortgage may be the answer. The flexibility it provides may help you with your retirement dreams, peace of mind, and quality of life in your retirement. For your in-home, no-obligation consultation, contact me at 928-225-7418. That's 928-225-7418. Or you can find me at Facebook at Jim Hostler, Reverse Mortgage Specialist.
Hi, this is Lori
and Melissa
from Sedona Soul Spaces. We are the premier source for all your interior design, decorating, and staging needs.
Every day people ask, why didn't I call you sooner?
Let us use our passion, creativity, and experience to make your life easier.
Don't make costly mistakes. Call us and we will help save you time and money.
We offer full-service interior design, custom furnishings,
complete home staging, turnkey vacation home packages.
Sedona Soul Spaces, creating extraordinary spaces that delight your soul.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with National Guard Staff Sergeant Araceli Crouder. The site to go to for more information is #AZNGTeam. #AZNGTeam. During our conversation in the first half, Araceli, we talked about jobs. Now, when I sign up for the National Guard, you mentioned this prior to the show, but we're all going to be given a job.
Yes. So the first thing that you do is you have to take the ASVAB test to see how it is that you score. So based on that score, it'll let me know, hey, you qualify for these jobs. Now, if you can get a security clearance, again, then there's more job opportunities for you as well. So we'll go through a list and I'll let you know, hey, these are the jobs that we have available. What is it that you're interested in?
So after you take this test, then that test decides what kind of jobs you're going to be qualified. Okay.
So as long as physically you can meet the requirements for those jobs, and if it requires security clearance, if you can get a security clearance, then yes, you can get that. Because there are some jobs, for example, where you can't be colorblind in order to have the job. So physically you have to be able to meet those standards.
Push the green button and you're looking at which one's that.
So
okay, gotcha.
You have to be able to distinguish. But yeah, so the jobs that we have here in the state, they range from infantry, which is a combat soldier, combat engineers. We have satellite systems operators, computer technicians, truck drivers. We just have a bunch of different jobs.
All the jobs I think in the real world are also in the National Guard, right? Across the gamut.
Yes, and then for example, like if you go and you get qualified as a truck driver with the National Guard, by the time that you come back from your training, you'll have your CDL, and you can use that in the civilian sector as well.
Sure, sure. Now you work satellites.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So what's that like for you? And I wanted to talk to you about that because we started at the beginning of the show, but my mind tends to, track all over the place. But in the 13 years you've been with the National Guard, what has it done for you personally?
So for me, so as far as the job that I have, that job does require a security clearance, which enabled me to get the position that I have today, because in order to be a recruiter, you have to have a security clearance as well. So for me, that job, like I said, every job is different. So it could range from 6 weeks of training to a year of training. My job was 9 months of training at the schoolhouse. So once I came back from that job, I returned and I was just going to do my 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer. But then I started working full time in the National Guard, which a lot of people don't know that you can do that. So I got a full-time position working in the National Guard. Since being in, like I said, I have 4 siblings. 3 out of my 4 siblings were able to join as well. So they joined the National Guard. So for our family, it's helped us out a lot. It's part of our identity.
Sure.
Right now.
Sure, yeah.
And then also I got married. I have kids and I'm pregnant right now, so it allowed me to pretty much be there for my family and have my own family and still continue to train soldiers. I also went to drill sergeant school, and I got to do some time on the trail and train future soldiers, and I've been working with the RSP. The RSP is what the soldiers do prior to going to basic training.
What is RSP?
So it's a recruit sustainment program.
Okay.
And so let's say you're to join now, but you don't ship out until the end of the summer, right? While you're waiting to go to training, we get you ready for basic training. So we teach you how to march. We teach you how to address different NCOs, the difference between officers and enlisted personnel. So by the time that you leave for training, you already have an idea. We also do fun things like
basic training before basic training.
Before basic training, yeah.
Right.
So the
Makes
cool
sense.
thing, like we do things like the gas chamber. So they go through the gas chamber before they even go to basic training. This next drill weekend, we're going to be doing rappelling. The previous drill weekend, we did combatives, which is hand-to-hand combat. And, we're doing water survival in May. So one of the instructors there. So right now, I'm pretty much taking a break because waiting for the baby to be born. But it's a lot of fun. And these soldiers that go to this training, they get paid for that. And it's all prior to them leaving, and it's helping them out. And we do a mini shark attack as well. So they kind of get the experience of having the drill sergeants yell at them before actually going to basic training. So they kind of get a glimpse of it. And because of this program, a lot of our soldiers come back as honor graduates.
And then there's education opportunities as well. I mean, already you're getting educated while you're in the National Guard, just learning all these really cool things you get to go do on the weekends and stuff. That sounds pretty interesting. But there's a lot of education involved with this. Is it before or after? When you're done, I mean, you can go to college. It's paid for.
So there's two different ways of going about it. We do have a college ROTC program as well. So for those people that are currently in school, if they have, I would suggest over a 3.2 GPA, if they're physically fit, especially if they did sports and things like that while they're in high school, then they can qualify for a 4-year guaranteed scholarship. So for example, I work right next to Embry-Riddle, and that school is about $40,000 a year. And we were able to give, so far I've brought in 8 people that have full ride scholarships to Embry-Riddle, and they're paying $40,000 a year for them to go to school. So while they're in the ROTC program, pretty much it's an extra class that they take, and it goes in line with their degree program for their bachelor's. So by the time that they complete their bachelor's, they will also have commissioned as officers in the National Guard. The neat thing about it is they have an idea of the job that they're going to go into once they graduate. And they also get paid for it. So they get a $420 stipend a month just to go to school, on top of their tuition already being paid for. So they're getting $420 a month just to go to school full time and be part of that program. And then they're also drilling 1 weekend a month, which they get paid as an E5, which is sergeant's pay when you look at the pay scale. And that's $329 extra, additional a month.
So you could be going to school for basically, well, not free because you're putting the time in the National Guard, but you could be going to school while you're in the National Guard, and you could take care of all of this at the same time.
And they're getting paid for it.
And getting paid for it, and the National Guard is picking up the school bill as well.
So they come out of there with no debt. You know, if they get this, if they get the scholarship, it's really neat. And a lot of people don't know about it. I talked to my Embry-Riddle guys about it because that's a really good school, right? And 97% of the people that graduate with a job. So it's like, hey, you're meeting all these people there. You're having all of this training, all of the school training. So by the time that you graduate, you can go straight into your job and use all of the skills and everything that you learned at school, plus the connections that you've made, and still be in the National Guard serving. So you get the best of both worlds again.
That's a really nice launch into
really
life.
Is.
I mean, what you're saying right now sounds like a dream come true for a lot of people out there. That's
it's
just
great.
a nice way to launch into the world.
Especially for a school, you know, that, I mean, it's really good education, and it's expensive. So, you know, if you want to serve, if you have that drive in you where you're like, hey, I want to be part of the military, but then I also want to go to school, you can do both. If you end up doing the ROTC program, that's one way about it. But if ROTC isn't the way that you want to go, there is the enlisted route, which they would go to basic training, and then AIT, which is advanced individual training, which is a job training that we were talking about. With that, once they come back, they can use tuition assistance, which for us, that's $250 per credit hour. That's about 16 credit hours a year. And we know that, you know, a typical school year is 24, which then we also have state tuition reimbursement, which makes us a little bit different, makes the National Guard different. With state tuition reimbursement, that's an additional 16 credit hours. But with that one, what's really neat about the state tuition reimbursement is, let's say you already have a scholarship, right? and you're using your scholarship to pay for your class. So as long as you pass that semester with a C or higher on your classes, you can put in for the state tuition reimbursement and get that money back. So that money, you pocket that money, that's money for you. So you can pretty much double dip with the state tuition reimbursement. But you know how we talked about how there's a 3-year contract?
We got to take a break.
Oh,
no, you're doing great. We have to take a break, though. Staff Sergeant Araceli Crouder is in studio for the National Guard. Hashtag AZNG team. Hashtag AZNG team. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born, and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left of the program. We want to make sure we keep talking about the GI Bill was where we were at. So GI Bill, let's hit that up before we run out of time.
So with the GI Bill, we talked about how there's a 3-year program and a 6-year program. So if you end up enlisting for 6 years, you can get the GI Bill. So if you go to school full-time, that's $384 tax-free that you get a month while you're going to school full-time. With that one, you can use that along with the state tuition reimbursement as well. So you pass your classes with C or higher, you put in to get that money reimbursed, but then you're still getting the $384 a month. We have the GI Bill kicker, which some people qualify for. You have to score over 50 on the ASVAB, and that's an additional $350. So essentially you're making, let's just say $700, let's just round it, $700 a month to go to school full time. And as long as you pass with a C or higher, you can put in reimbursement and get your tuition that you paid for. You can get that money back. So you're making all this extra money just to go to school full time.
And you're serving your country.
And you're serving your country. So, and you're still doing 1 weekend a month, and you're getting paid for that Saturday and Sunday that you're doing. So yeah, so you can go to school full time, and you know, you really don't need to have a job on the side, because already going to school full time is stressful enough as is. So with this, you just do 1 weekend a month, you go to school full time, and you're essentially making $1,000 a month just to do 1 weekend a month and go to school full time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Anything else we need to hit really fast? Like 30 seconds worth?
Well, if there are any questions, or if people want to find out if this is something that they're eligible on doing, just they can call me. I'm Staff Sergeant Crouder. My phone number is 602-300-0893. I'm located out of Prescott, but I also cover all of Kingman, Bullhead City, Lake Havasu area.
Okay, all right, so Northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona.
Pretty much Northern Arizona. So that number again is 602-300-0893. 602-300-0893. Hashtag AZNG team. Hashtag AZNG team. Staff Sergeant Araceli Crouder, thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on the baby, which is very soon around the corner.
Very soon, yeah.
That is today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.